Welcome to the Hour of Restoration. It's another Sabbath, so we are back again with another theme and another show. Tell a friend to tune in because it is 10 a.m. So that means that the Hour of Restoration has officially started. Today is the second part of the theme called Men's Inventions, or the Inventions of Men. Last week we spoke about men's inventions and the topic was television. And today's topic will be plastic surgery. Once again, tell a friend to tune in, because nowadays I believe that there is a particular trend. I saw my own sister watching on YouTube yesterday how certain individuals were going to do plastic surgery in Turkey. They call it Brazilian butt lift. My goodness. Tell a friend to tune in. This is, once again, the theme called Men's Inventions, and the topic of today is plastic surgery. If you have any comments, contributions, drop them in the comment section. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Facebook. Once again, tell a friend to tune in. As I said, I'll say again, we are in the second part of this month's theme. We are talking about men's inventions, and last week we talked about television. The impact of television on society, the impact of television on our own psyche, on our own mind, how we perceive this life. And today we'll talk about another of men's inventions called plastic surgery. Tell a friend to tune in. In a short 1 to 2 minutes, we'll commence with today's show. As we always do, we'll first commence with a table talk session about last week's show. And afterwards, we get straight into the preaching of today. So let me replay a part of this song and then we'll commence in a short 1 minute. welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome once again to the hour of restoration. It's far past 10 a.m., so we officially start today's show. Once again, thank you for joining us in another show, in another Facebook live session, YouTube live session. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to share the link with whomsoever you know, because today we're about to start with another very, very important and relevant topic, theme, show. As we always do, we first begin with a table talk session about the session or the show we had last week. So last week was the first part of the theme called Men's Inventions. We talked about television, how it came to be, what was the impact of television. If you missed the preaching, make sure that you rewatch it on our YouTube page, The Hour of Restoration, or on Facebook, The Hour of Restoration. And today we'll commence with a table talk session. I have two of the people of the group of the horror family with me here today. And without further ado, how are you guys doing today? Brittany.
Yes, I'm doing fine.
You're doing fine?
I'm doing fine.
You are fit.
Yeah, fit is another word, but I'm doing fine.
Cool. Anand, how are you today?
Also doing fine.
Yeah, you are blessed, huh? I know you are blessed. You have to claim it. I am blessed.
I receive it.
No, cool.
Yes,
So, thank you guys for being here today. Last week, I think we had a really wonderful session, a really nice preaching. And one thing I notice about Minister Justice is that in one particular topic, he can go different directions and he can touch different perspectives. And then at the end, link them all together and bring them back into the same subject. So we bless Yah for that. So what was your idea of the show, Shalom? How did you experience the show? Did you hear some new things which you haven't or didn't think about before the show? Or was it for you like a repetition maybe?
No, it was good to hear it again, and I think one thing which really stick was that part of yeah, he made a lot of jokes also. So basically, home basically the that part of Israel, those in the people in the country, but they are not from there. Of those who call today the Israelites, they are not from there. But when you look at nature is working against them. But TV is still explaining you that they are the people of the indeed. So yeah, they realize, yeah, man, the television do have power.
Yeah. So yeah, television really has the means of spreading a message and causing the people to believe it. It doesn't have to be a true message, right? Because they have access to the minds of so many people. Whatever they say, it enters the minds of the masses.
And it can be contrary to what the nature teaches you, but still.
Contrary to what the Bible teaches the believers, but still it becomes part of your psyche if you don't watch out. But before we get into that specific subject, we'll save that for later. The minister, I think he started somewhere in the show with discussing how many times we emphasize spiritual things and we neglect physical things, right? So he told us not to focus on the spiritual things which we can't see or do not understand, but that we should focus on the physical things which impact us directly, right? So the question that I immediately had was then, how do you differentiate between the two? When do you say that something is physical and when do you say that something is spiritual? For example, when you become sick, is that physical or is that spiritual? So how do you differentiate between when something is physical or when something is spiritual? Brittany.
I find that a difficult question to answer. For the example that you mentioned, yeah, sick. That's always something that I thought about. I'm not sure if that is a spirit, because sometimes you read in the scriptures also that they were healed from their infirmities, and sometimes you really see spirits being cast out. My at on the other side, sometimes you being sick is also just your lifestyle that is not healthy, so that is completely physical. So how would I distinguish? I think I would just first start at a physical level to examine, okay, are there things that like where I have influence over? Um, so let's say the example of television. If you know that you are struggling with lust or violence or something like that, and you tend to have a lot of lustful thoughts or violent thoughts, okay, is it maybe because the content that I'm watching or listening to has a lot of those images and stuff? So when I eliminate that, okay, and then after a while, if you see that it's still, yeah, it's still, hoe zeg je dat? Het gaat nog steeds, yeah, it's still active. Thank you. Then I would think, okay, maybe there's something more happening. So then I would look at, okay, maybe it's a spiritual matter, and I would seek advice or need help.
Okay, so you would first look at what are the physical things that you yourself can impact or remove or eliminate.
Yeah.
And if let's say the situation is still going on, then you would try and go to online.
Yeah.
Bind a few things.
Yeah.
Shalom. So how do you differentiate between the physical and the spiritual? Let me give another example. Let's say you have children, right? You have children because a lot of the mothers which go to the church pray for their children because maybe their child is not that obedient, right? Let's say you have children and child is very rebellious, goes out, parties, drinks. And maybe in your culture that is rebellious. In some cultures that is not rebellious. But in your culture that is bad. Would you label that as spiritual, as physical? How would you tackle that situation? Yeah, because I'm looking for ways to differentiate between how do you know that something is physical or something is spiritual?
I think I would assess both.
Assess both.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
One thing, I realize that your action speaks more than your words. So as a person, someone looks at what you do instead of what you're saying, which is good or bad. And when, or for example, in the example of children or your surrounding, your people who you look up. When you say don't do this, but for instance, with African mothers or parents, they would say, "Hey, mama, somebody's calling you." They say, "Tell the person I'm not at home." Parents, tell the person I'm not at home. So you have been doing that for years. Tell the person I'm not at home. So later on, your own child is lying to you, say that I have not done this. You'll be like, huh? How can you lie as to your own parent? But basically, I've always been lying to your child. You have taught
your children how to lie.
Exactly. It's acceptable. So I think for that first, I would assess my own actions. I think I had it was a conversation with Brother Justice also about this, because check first your own actions. What do you do? What is your surrounding? How do you look at others? How do others review your actions? Because I think that would be the first thing I would check, and then others can dive into it. I would speak too long.
You would speak too long.
One
day you have to do a summary of that thing. Because another another statement the minister made, he did it twice. He said the unseen things have no impact on you until a physical object has been made. I believe that behind that statement alone, there are weeks of teachings behind it.
Mhm.
But for now, how do you view such a statement? Because you said different things. For example, you also said that this battle is physical. That you really emphasized, or the message was really, according to my understanding, that you have to focus on the things that you see, the things that you can target and influence, as you said, right? But how do you view that statement? So how do you think about that statement, that the unseen things have no impact on you until a physical object has been made? What went through your mind when you heard that statement, Brittany?
Um, yeah, to make it a bit more concrete, I understand it as in, if you link it to the topic, maybe the ideologies or the people behind or the spirits that operate through these people, yeah, we don't really see. Some people do not really know about it, but they then use television to bring that ideology across.
Yeah.
So then I would indeed understand it. And even in your daily life, yeah, maybe it sounds strange, but how I always understood was, also when you speak about spirits and stuff, they really cannot do anything unless they inhabit a body. That's how I always understood it from my earlier teaching. So for example, a spirit, yeah, cannot really do much unless it has a physical body or it would inhabit someone. And of course my understanding is now a bit different.
Why? What has changed?
What has changed is because you also have, how do you say that, suggestions, and that doesn't always have to be a physical person. Sometimes you get suggestions in your mind or whatnot, and there's no physical person around. So that's why I'm not really sure how to view that. But when it speaks about using the unseen things not having influence unless it is objectified, then I can understand it. So that's why I explained the example. I'm not sure if it's clear.
Yeah. I get what you mean. And Shalom, how do you look at that statement? Right, the unseen things have no impact on you until a physical object or manifestation has been made.
The unseen thing is which you think in your mind, your heart, your soul, ideas. That's why they always say that in the graveyard is the most richest place on earth, because there are so many people who had their potentials, their things, they're done, their things that they could have been doing, their wisdom, and they have all been dissolved. So yeah, with that in mind, I think results is really something which is really tangible. People look at that. May it be miracles, may it be you're going to school for years, you have not get your diploma. It's still, you need something tangible, and I think that's the same process also goes from things which is unseen in your thoughts. It can be manifested. Like in the IT you talk, you can have ideas. If there's no program, you cannot help anybody. So yeah, man, that's how I view.
Yeah, nice. So I agree also with I can even understand your reasoning, Brittany, for example, that you see that a lot of things, let's say spirits, when you look at it from a biblical perspective, you know that they usually work through a individual, a physical person, and that is, I believe, that physical object which the minister was referring to, because if they don't have that, they can't, let's say, really exercise influence on. It always goes through a person. But how do you deal with the suggestions in your mind? The things that come to be. You can also have a whole discussion about that. Maybe the suggestions are simply because you have done some certain things that your body will refer to those things which you have done. It doesn't have to be. Yeah,
that's why
you're the object.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
unfortunately.
Exactly.
He also said that you can listen to 50s and 10 years ago in the club. You hear
Always
it now.
in the club.
So we also spoke about how in the assemblies or in the churches or in the ecclesiastical gatherings, whatever you want to call it, we tend to focus a lot on the unseen, right? But the physical things we are struggling with, the sins we are struggling with, you don't really hear a lot of ministers talking about that. What is your experience with that, Shalom?
Yeah. It's funny because I was also thinking about this this week. As in that you can be in an assembly, you can do your services, but behind the scenes, your heart is not in line with it.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Your heart is not in line
with your services.
So make it practical
Make
for us.
Oh,
Concrete. Because your heart is not in. I can see the line. I can see the heart. it is difficult to make it concrete.
We have to draw it. No, as in, basically when you are, rendering service, you're saying that you are following an Elohim or someone whom you follow, but then basically you are doing behind the scenes contrary things. Which
you are watching pornography. You are going to church, you are doing ministry, but you are watching pornography. That is contrary, right?
For example.
Okay.
Or having sex.
Exactly. All those things. That is the line. That is the heart. Okay.
And so your question again?
So the minister said that when we go to a lot of churches, right?
Yeah.
We focus a lot on the unseen, spiritual battles, whatever. But the physical things, a lot of church members are struggling with. Nobody's talking about it. So what is your experience with that scenario?
Unfortunately, I find it really I have a bad experience with that. Because as I was explaining that you're going to church, you're watching pornography, for example, and mostly in the churches they focus on binding. I even had a conversation with someone about this, that but the church doesn't teach you first, repent first before you would even pray unto the Most High, because many of the prayers we pray, thanksgiving, offering, help, money, he doesn't listen to it because you have not prayed first your prayer of repentance or sincere repentance. And I've brought up also in this environment.
You also brought up in an environment where that was happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, putting the blame elsewhere, making sure that it's always about unseen things, spiritual things. But then one day, a brother advised me, just remove, for example, for instance, you are going at home, you have prayed. It's fine, you have prayed, but go home and remove the posters.
Ja.
Je toch, weet welke poster gebruikt de man of vrouw? Dat is waar.
Beyoncé
posters of zo. Or the Eminem and the 50 Cent posters and so. Just remove them and then you can pray. I was like, oh yeah, man.
Wow.
It's really simple and practical. Yeah, man. Because you can pray, you will go home, you will see the posters and then you will sleep.
Done. So what have you done?
Exactly. So then I realized, hey, we have to retrain our mind against in the churches, in the assemblies, in the faith.
And according to you, Brittany, what happens, right, when we continue to put the focus on the unseen and the spiritual things, but we don't really talk about the things people are really dealing with? Because I think I heard a message. I don't know if it was Minister Justice, but even if it was not, right? Do you know how many men, women go to the church, are dealing with things like masturbation? But if you look at all the teachings the minister has done the whole year, maybe he hasn't even talked about masturbation once, right? But so what do you think that will happen when we continue to focus on the things we can't see, but the physical sins we are struggling with, we don't tackle them?
Well, you literally will keep on missing the mark. I think that for a lot of
missing the mark.
Yeah, I think because people are dealing with something, and actually the one that they have to go to for advice, or should maybe rebuke them on it or speak to them about it, doesn't tackle the issue. So what do you then have to do? You don't know what to do, so you will continue in that same behavior, or you will try to solve it in a way that's maybe not even beneficial. So you will keep on sinning, unfortunately, unless of course by the mercies of Elohim, there's some type of intervention.
Mhm.
But I think that it's also based on the question you asked, Shalom.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's also I don't know if it's a religious thing or a cultural thing. Just certain topics not discussed. I'm not sure if they're afraid to talk about sex. I'm not sure if they don't want to talk
What
about
do you think
violence
it
or
is?
whatnot.
It's religious or culture?
It's difficult. I think it's a mixture of both. In my experience, it was literally gewoon, yeah, you're not supposed to do this, but yeah, and humans, if you tell them not to do
They
anything
get
without
curious.
explanation,
Mhm.
they'll get the urge even more to do it.
Mhm.
That has been proven scientifically. You see it everywhere with human beings. If you tell them no restriction, but without explanation, they will start doing it. And I think that's also how a lot of people have been raised. But also in the churches, they seem to portray this type of character. So unfortunately, for people that are going through these things and you cannot find good counsel, or maybe your pastor does not speak about it, yeah, it's hard. Sometimes listen to messages, maybe testimonies of people online. That's sometimes also what I do. How did they overcome it? And sometimes the testimony of another can also help you.
And I
So,
also think that it really creates hypocrites, right? You are literally raising up hypocrites as a minister, right?
Mhm.
Because you are not targeting the things the people should let go, but you are creating abstract concepts, theologies, ideas. Because of that, the people forget that, hey, I'm stuck in pornography,
yeah.
right? So I'm also young. I know a few of my former friends and a few people who go to churches. When you see them in the church, they are really, really active. But I know their lives, right? I know that you are maybe preaching in the church, you are seen as a leader in the church. Nothing wrong with that. But you and I both know that you are dealing with certain sins in your room, in your private chamber, right? And because nobody sheds light on it, you then hold up that image that you are really there, you are really a leader, you are really spiritual. But when it's really time to be spiritual, when you are alone in your room, when it's really time to be one with Elohim, that's when you show who you really are. A fornicator, one who watches pornography, right? So it's a topic on itself, but because the minister really emphasized on setting or focusing on the physical, that's why I wanted to touch that. So I have one question before we really switch to the television part. We spoke about how in one of the things he said is how black people, Bantus, have stumbled upon Christianity, but I'll not focus on that. But why do you guys think that black people, especially Africans, also many Latin Americans, are so over spiritual, are so spiritual? We really fear spiritual things. Everything we do, we really watch or try to see what is spiritual about it, or we try to spiritualize everything. Where do you think that comes from?
Blood,
Sean?
man.
Blood.
What?
Our blood and our
I don't know what blood means.
He just says blood.
Which blood? Huh? The blood of Jesus. Huh?
No, nah. Yeah, black people, they love to worship everything they see. Yeah. I think the reason why I said blood is also because it has always been in them to worship objects, worship, giving their whole and their everything. And for instance, Christianity is not even from Africa, but the way we embrace it,
We
as
love
if
it.
we created it, as if we were the one. We are the patriarchs
Of Christianity. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the white people, they don't even the churches are getting empty. Nu zeggen ze vergrijzing.
They are atheists. So
So that is one part, but I also think that sorry, I also have to go to the television part. I know you wanted to go later, but Nollywood, Gollywood.
what is Gollywood?
Ghana,
Ghana
Nollywood.
Hey!
Ghana, Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gollywood.
Yeah.
Ghana, Hollywood.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah.
they have to copy
Wow. Yeah.
those movie gang, ding, 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 gang, 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 gang. Bro, come on, man. My mother, if I hear it at home, I'm annoyed, man.
Wow.
At a certain point, when she put I ran to the room,
it triggers you.
It has, you know, but when you watch, je herkent het, hè? Wow.
Really
also
the-
checken.
the instruments and then the suspense. Yeah. Just
Wow.
But when you watch Hollywood, all of a sudden you see superheroes, Superman, no spirit. You're talking as it has been nice.
It has been made nice. Yeah,
But when
yeah,
you
yeah.
go to Gollywood or Nollywood, you know, all these images has been portrayed much, and then it's getting everybody's houses.
Yeah. It's getting into the minds.
So I think that's one thing. And yeah, if you combine these two, a black man being a worshiper of anything, and you give him gang, yeah, then.
No, he's not saying gang.
As in gang.
Oh,
gang. No.
The piano.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe some people.
Yeah, because some
talking
people-
about gang violence.
No, we don't promote.
He's not
Yeah,
talking about
we don't promote
gang
gang.
violence.
No.
we don't promote.
No. So
Not-
if you watch African movies, you'll hear the piano, right?
Yeah.
To make people afraid.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
you're a real host. You neutralize.
Yeah, because
No, but
so-
that really destroys and annoys me a lot.
That, that is even a good bridge to go towards television because we have 10 minutes extra from the minister, right? So we have 10 minutes extra to just finish up the table talk. So the minister also mentioned that the devil, right, to go deep, he said that there's a scripture for that, right? He said the devil has been able to deceive the whole world through television, not only through television, but also through television. So how do you think that the enemy or the devil has been able to deceive the masses through television?
How can I? When you speak about television, it's you literally only see a screen. They show you certain images. They give you certain ideas, and because in these times we are often very bored, we don't really have much to do. So people would always or have the tendency to just let's watch television, let's watch Netflix, whatever, and some people are not really aware that though you are watching something, there's always a message that's being communicated to you. And sometimes you may think, oh, I watched this, it's just innocent, but then the message behind it, it's a very dark or deep message. And I think that is how the enemy has succeeded in messing up a lot of minds, because he just gives you the ideology, he just gives you the suggestion, but eventually what people do with it, they often do what they have maybe seen on the television, and they start to do that in their own life. They're just taking it over. A lot of people also watch television, for example, as I actually already said, bored in their own life. So they use the television to live their life through television. So in that sense, it can also mess up a lot of things because it can give you a wrong ideology. For example, let's take romance. You can just mention romance and you see already like wedding bells and how they view it on television and what romance should be. Bosje bloemen, chocola, op één knie, whatever.
You don't want that.
Yeah, it's like that.
You don't want that.
No.
You don't want bosje bloemen and chocola. Huh?
I don't eat chocolate.
She would love
Remember
chocolate
this day.
en bosje bloemen en
Remember
op
this
één
day.
knieën. Eventjes op, man.
En ik heb hooikoorts, dus ik hou ook niet van bloemen.
Ja,
Dus.
please. No, and like he also mentioned, right? He also mentioned how based on statistics, right? They measured it and they saw a strong decline in marriages after the invention of television, or maybe a increase in divorce, for example, when it after television was invented. And Shalom, how would you explain that? If you can, how would you link those two together? Why would there be maybe an increase in divorce after the invention of television?
think it's really nice who ones who program at the TV shows. And what Brother Justice also said is that this ancient serpent, thousands of years, and we just live not even 1%, not even 1/10 of a percent, 100th of a percent. So you have much time to perfectionize everything which we want to portray on others. And when you look at the ones who program those TV shows, about a few companies who are holding
the big five.
Yeah,
right?
one. But then when you look at if you do research about who are those people, what they are doing, in which groups they are, I would say take your time, research it for yourself. Just what Aniki would say, type the origin of and that word of those people and then those companies. You would see that the messages that they are promoting, the lifestyle that they are living, what they are worshiping, it's all linked and all based on the deceptions and the thoughts of that ancient serpent.
The devil.
The devil.
Hey. And so what is there about those TV programs which makes people, let's say, maybe divorce earlier? Because there are
no
many
reality in it.
There's no reality in it.
It's all imagination, fantasy. For instance, the porn industry. I think one of the teachings also before touched that you would see the porno video, 30 minutes, 1 hour. I think by almost by now they even have 6 hours video. And then, but then when you would see it's all cut, stopped, cut, stopped.
Editing,
master
they
editor,
take a break,
they drink
water.
coffee, they are making jokes,
goodness.
and you bring them, you come home, you be like, hey, why are we not performing 6 hours?
Yeah.
But would that lead to divorce? Do you think is that
divorce?
One of
there are married people that still watch those things. So I mean, based on your question, I don't really see the connection how that automatically leads to divorce.
I
so
think expectation, right?
False expectation.
Okay.
Okay, wasn't really clear for me. Yeah.
I was about to say that people also, because some people also raise that literally with pornography, and then those people they come together and say, hey, we will talk of let's make it an agreement. Okay, why not? That's their role, that's their view. We have some traditionalists.
Yeah.
They do it in their bed, in the secret time moments, and then they want to outlash it on their spouses.
Okay.
And
I get it now. Like, yeah.
and I think that the answer he used the example of pornography, but I think that television has the ability to create certain expectations in our minds, because as we have taught here a lot of times is that the mind works with associations, right? If the television can get you to associate a certain situation with a certain behavior, subconsciously you will mimic that behavior when you get into the same situation. And that is why on television you usually see that when a man is in a relationship with a woman, this is what a man does, so you automatically will think that this is how I ought to behave.
Chocolate,
Exactly.
The show Hip Hop Ladies and Wife of Show.
Hip hop ladies.
I know
Love
that.
and hip hop.
If I knew that one person or lady was watching that, I was afraid.
Wow.
I really have to round up. I have to round up, but I have one last question. Like we are going towards the next topic, right? So we talked about the inventions of men, television, and now we are going to the second part of the inventions of men, and the topic is plastic surgery, right? So Shalom. Is this topic relevant? Is this topic, according to you, is this topic relevant?
Yeah.
And why is
I was
relevant?
at Jimmy's brother's house, smaller brother house, and then we were just talking with the youth and so, and then he showed us a movie on our YouTube.
Vlog?
No, it was not a vlog. Someone who was really talking about the system. It was basically someone who he's also part of the system. He had fun. genieten and all these things. But basically he's living that lifestyle, but he also identify the program the world is portraying. So he was saying that this.
So
world,
he was woke.
Woke, but he's living that. Yeah. Woke are people who are living the lifestyle,
but they know. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
So then basically, so he was explaining that, man, this world is really. The agenda is really on the woman to give the woman power, but please watch out, because later they will just abolish you guys and you'll be just used as
trash cans.
Exactly. And they said one of the things that they also use is then also plastic surgery, because then having battles between the woman to each other and all these things. I was like, yeah. And he said that that's normal. From that moment I realized, hey, it's gewoon normal in the generation before me. Like,
and
my time I was playing football or of Dragon Ball Z, and if it was dirty things or bad things, it would be MTV, the box. Now it's plastic surgery.
And Brittany, 30 seconds.
Yeah, wow.
Plastic surgery. Why? Is it also do you also hear conversation about that? What do you hear?
I often see it in vlogs. Whether it's relevant, yes, because it's increasing in today's time. When people are not afraid with a certain body part, it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to get some injections. Oh, ik ga vandaag botox doen. Alsof het gewoon, as if it's going to the dentist, literally. So it's still relevant because it's becoming more and more and more. As I said, I often see it in vlog. Yeah, I have females, of course, mostly around me, and people from school and everything, they were already getting into certain things. So I would say, it needs to be addressed, and actually the issue underneath should be addressed, because without that, it's not gonna stop.
So in conclusion, as I said, I think in the intro yesterday, my sister was watching a video on plastic surgery, right?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. They were cutting the woman like, do you know Ntaba? Do you know how they cut? Yeah. So they were No.
It's so normal among the youth.
Yeah, and what I heard from my little sister was that nowadays a lot of people are doing what they call Brazilian butt lift. Right? I heard that a lot of, I didn't know, but
a lot of people do it. Yeah.
Brazilian hair, but butt lift. Wow.
So I really think that they are creating a standard of beauty, an unattainable standard of beauty, which you can only attain by unnatural means. And is that dangerous or deadly? I believe so, but we'll find out after this table talk. So thank you guys for joining me today. It was a really insightful conversation. We discussed a lot. Thank you guys for your views, and unto the listeners, thank you guys for being with us until now. This is the end of the table talk session, and after the break we'll get straight into the preaching once again. Don't forget that the topic of today is plastic surgery. If you have any experience with it, if you have any comments, contributions, you can drop them in the Facebook live or the YouTube live section, and we'll try to address it during the show. Once again, tell a friend to tune in. We'll be right back in a short 5 minutes.
Ishadere mo inanoya izadere mutima na ngai izana tokola Yesu. Osa mutima na ngai izana yebela Yesu. Osa mutima na ngai izana kubisa Yesu. Come on. Zoba bonayo nantimae bengangai kumabonayo yesoyo mabenga zoba bonayo nantimae mabengangai kumabonayo yesoyo mabenga ngai bonayo nantimae amie bwaka ngai bonayo yesoyo matika ngai bonayo nantimae aposana ngai bonayo yesoyo ngai matika ngamboe bonayo nantimae Osa motema na ngai ezana sa shola Yesu. Oh, osa motema na ngai ezana yebela Yesu. Come on.
Shalom, shalom. All the I pray people who have thank Elohim Almighty. Yet another day that He has granted unto us. Yet another opportunity He has given unto us. Be able to be alive and to make the best of our lives. Yesterday indeed is gone, and a new day has risen. And everything that happened yesterday is but a shadow of the past. And everything that may happen tomorrow can be likened unto a seed of hope. It's not your yesterday that will define you, though you will bear the consequences of it. Your yesterday will not define you. It is a decision that you make today and going forward that will determine your life. And it is by the mercy of Elohim that He says that His mercies are renewed
each and every single morning. And he is hoping and he's looking from his place to the sons and the daughters of men. And he's saying, who will come to the light today? Who will decide to live a better life today? Who will look at his own ways and say things have to change today? And on all those who will sincerely call upon me, I from my holy sanctuary will immediately dispatch my holy ones to come and check the state of their hearts. And if they are sincere and are calling out unto me, then know that my hands are not sure that they cannot deliver. Mine eyes are not darkened that I cannot see them. But I, Elohim, will look upon them and will show compassion. That is why every day when you are asleep and you wake up, you ought to look towards the heavens and thank the Almighty and say, Abba, thank you for your mercy and thank you for your compassion. So, looking at this day that Elohim has made for us, I sincerely hope that this is your mindset, that you will not hold yourself captive because of yesterday, but that you will look and say, hey, but people can change every day. And it all has to do with what we hear, what we perceive, and what we believe in. And especially that concept, the mind of men or the imagination of men, is something that we will also tackle in today's topic, because true suffering happens here, in your mind. Everything starts and ends here. It is here that you have won, and it is here that you have lost. Sometimes you look around and you look at your body and you are angry at your own body and you're like, I hate my body. Why is my body causing me to sin? And that's why the Bible says the whole creation of Yah, it is groaning, because your own body is like, why do you always blame me? When your body puts on weight and you become fat and you look at yourself, you're like, I hate this body. It is causing me to eat. Not knowing that mentally you lack self-control. There is a greed mentally, and so it is reflecting on the body. You walk around somewhere and there is a show that is on television and you decide to sit and look, and then you see something that is unbecoming on TV and your body reacts. And then you look around and you turn around, you're like, you see, my body is causing me to lust. Whilst this flesh of ours, this body of ours, it is nothing but a tool. It is nothing but a vehicle. It has an auto reaction and it moves based upon the programming that Elohim gave it. So if you go outside without a jacket, your body will freeze. It is cold. That does not make your body evil, nor does it make your body good. If you go outside and the sun is shining and you put on a lot of clothing, you will sweat. That does not mean your body is weak, or it is a natural programming of the body. And if you do not understand this, and you keep on exposing your body to things that will cause it to trigger and respond, because that is the way it has been made, you will end up victimizing your own body and telling yourself, my body is wicked. My body is evil. Whilst that is not necessarily the case, and that is something that we will have to try to tackle with today's subject. Because all of us, or many of us, are aware and we can see how the speed with which this world is going. The speed with which this world is going, the things that are imagining and that are happening, it is very strange. Because I can look up the word influencer.
So definition of the word influencer.
What is an influencer?
Influencer.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who affects or changes the way that other people behave.
Someone who
affects or changes the way that other people behave.
Now look up the word president.
President, this is from the Cambridge Dictionary. It says, the title given to the person who has the highest political position in a country that is a republic, and who in some of these countries is the leader of the government.
The leader of the
government.
Now look up the word government.
Government, the group of people who officially control a country.
The group of people who officially control
a country.
Okay. So the group of people who officially control a country, they are the ones who decide who becomes the president. Mm-hmm. That is why the president is a title given. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And then you look up the word influencer, and it says someone who
affects or changes the way other people behave.
So who has more power?
Good question.
Because do you see the level and the power that that word has, influencer? Right? And these are things that we esteem them to be so lightly. We esteem them to be so lightly. But now when you go on social media, that is where you will find the most people claiming to be influencers. And at first you're like, what a ridiculous title. This person says he or she's a social media influencer. But then if you look at their claim and the impact that they have on society, you will come to the conclusion that truly these people have the power to influence others. And that is the world where we are living in. The title between the seen force that influences people, the so-called president, and the true people that influence people, the lines are now so blurred. The lines are now so blurred. Children don't look up to presidents. Nobody cares about Obama unless you are maybe 25 or 30 years old. You have to do with taxes. That is when you care about laws, regulations, and Obama and Trump and Hillary and all of them. Nobody really cares about them. And nobody really listens to them. But where do people and who do people listen to? Where do people get their ideas from? What decides our perception? What decides our perception? Are it not the people that live and partake and show out their stuff on the media? The media has the most influence on this world. And therefore, if you can become a media personality, you will see that you have more sway over the minds of men than people who claim to be president. Look at a guy like Biden, for example. Nobody respects him. Nobody. His nickname is Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, Sleepy Joe.
Wow.
Sleepy Joe. If you are an interviewer and you ask him a question off script, he will flip. So he went to Israel. He was having a one-on-one, and the guys were sitting across each other. And the Israeli guy was giving his history, and he was talking about how America has a relationship with Israel that dates years. And the guy was giving a chronological order. Sleepy Joe was asleep. He was asleep on live TV. And the Israeli guy, because it's all set up, it's fake anyways. So that's why he showed me he's a real actor. He was pretending as if he was having a conversation with Biden, but he understood this guy's asleep. He knew hey, this guy's asleep, but the show must go on. Nobody respects Biden. And yet, look at the stars of this world. Someone like, what's her name? Kim Kardashian. You know the impact Kim Kardashian has had in the world and over the minds of men from the moment that she became a celebrity? Guys, do you know the impact that she has had ever since that she became a celebrity? But she's not in office. Yet she has sway over the minds of people. And why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because we can all act and pretend as if there are no people that have influence over us. But that is a lie. There will always be people who, if you put them at a certain position, they will sway influence over you. And how does that tie with today's topic? Because we're supposed to speak about plastic surgery. At first I was thinking like, but this topic, is it really like relevant? Because you will find no verse speaking about any plastic surgery, because these things were not around in those days. In the context of literal plastic surgery. But there was a concept of beautification. But I'm restricted when it comes to that, because apparently there are subjects with regarding to the beautification. And then we have to link them with some hosts. Today, I will just have to take another route. First of all, to start, Ecclesiasticus 7, plastic surgery, verse 29.
Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha.
No.
Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes in the King James Version, chapter 7, from verse 20 and 9.
He says,
Lo, this only have I found,
this only have I discovered,
that Elohim has made man upright.
That when Elohim made men, he made men normal.
But they have sought out many inventions.
But what is causing the grief and the trouble in the lives of men is that they themselves have sought
out many inventions.
They themselves have sought out many inventions. If you take it to a natural stance, you are someone, you are born a man. All of a sudden, you grow up and you reach the age of 13, 14. You're like, no. I'm deeper than my biology. I'm bigger than my own biology. I know that I'm supposed to subscribe to the natural order of things, but I have transcended
the natural order.
I'm above and beyond this container of mine. I feel more alike to women because we vibrate on the same frequency and the way I am, and I just feel more connected to women. So I think there has been a mistake somewhere. So I think I'm a woman. And then you go, and you invent things in order to subscribe to what you think is real. And so you turn yourself into a woman. It is an invention of men. An invention of men is, we seem to think that we are so smart, and we think that we are smarter than nature. But every time that we think that our intellect is above that of nature, it is the same nature that comes back and confines us and shows us that your understanding is but a small portion in the grand scheme of things. Because up until now, what have we invented that makes us superior to nature? Look at a human being. Can you fly? No. But look at a bird, an eagle. The eagle is the king of the sky, and he has been made like that naturally. We have to invent things in order to imitate the. Why do you think a plane has wings? Where do you think the brilliant guy who decided to, or who was inspired, should I say, to make planes, where do you think that understanding came from? Don't you think he was looking and observing, and he saw the bird and the wings, and he studied what they call the laws of aerodynamics, and that is when he was able to make the plane. The concept of a human robot to replicate and take over the role of a human being. Why does a robot look like a human? All these things that they are doing, all of us, and it's just so, I don't know what is wrong with mankind. Because when we're witches, the whole world is under a spell.
Wow.
And the spell that has overtaken us is it is, I call it the curse of knowledge. Because we are trying to attain a knowledge that will make us superior to what we are, not knowing that all that we are doing is we are trying to replicate the things that already are. That is all we're doing. Because if you look at things very carefully, it seems that we are technologically so advanced as to where we were then. But to be sincere with you, we are degrading, not only mentally, spiritually, intellect, we are degrading in all things. We are degrading, we are living in a backward society where you can live, you can walk around and but just look at some of the laws that are being enacted in this country. You have to put on a mask to protect you from a virus. And they have shown you that virus spreads through the air. But the mask you are wearing, you are not allowed to wear a surgical mask. You must just put a piece of cloth and walk around.
A disposable mask.
A disposable mask, and walk around, and they say it is that mask that will secure a certain security, which it makes no sense what the people are saying. But you must wear a mask, and the mask has holes. The mask is not even a surgical mask, because if you wear a surgical mask, you will get fined. And they say that mask will help you from a certain virus. And if you don't do that, the lawmakers will punish you. Just look at the society and the world that we are living. They invent this disease, and it has all the symptoms of a flu. But up until now, no one has ever found the cure for the flu. There is no cure for the flu. There is no cure for the flu. Why? You cannot cure something which is natural. When the seasons change, your body adapts. That's why they cannot find the cure for the flu. But instead of telling us you should have a better lifestyle, instead of the people to say we will ban cigarettes, we will ban alcohol, we will close down all the junk foods, because the corona is, because it's an attack on your immune system, and your immune system is linked to your health. Instead of them tackling that, now they subscribe and they prescribe medicines that attack your immune system. So I don't even know where to go and where to start with this society. The people that rule us, I don't know if they are mad. So the whole world is just a scary place to live in.
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
It is just a scary place to live in. These lawmakers that are so intelligent, they tell us, no, human beings have the freedom of speech. So-called. But we are not to say, so they tell us human beings have the freedom of speech, and we are allowed to say whatever we want. But when we want to go and vote, you have to be 18 years or older to vote. Because apparently, if you are under 18, you don't understand the government system and the implications of voting. But a child who is 9 at school is being taught the kinderkoek. So it's being told that there are no two genders now, but genders are like biscuits now. So there are layers to genderism. You can be a man, but you are a woman. You can be a woman, but you are a man. You can also be a man, but you don't subscribe to being a woman
or a man.
You are just something.
You are gender fluid.
So you are the mystical one.
You flow through genders.
You have no limitations.
No beginning, no end.
So they are teaching you are a pansexual, meaning you can flow with birds, you can flow with animals, you can flow with robots, you can flow with humans, you can flow with children. You are everything. Children can decide, Papa, I don't feel like a man, I feel like a woman. And school told me that if I feel like that, I should tell them that they can help me get on a government program free of charge and get my turnaround. It would omgebouwd. So get my change of sex. An adolescent child is allowed to decide all of that by him or herself. But that child cannot vote. And that is the world that we are living. And you are here trying to argue with us with regards to topics like plastic surgery, and some people in their homes, they're like, yeah, what is wrong with that? Why should we even talk about stuff like this? Why should we even talk about stuff like this? But you don't know, it is all promoting an agenda. Why? Because the people who will benefit from plastic surgeries are not the straight people, it are the butties. That's what it is all, we are all going somewhere, but you are just so short-sighted. All you think is, only think about your phone, Meki, watching television. That is all you do. Not knowing that the dangers that are ahead. The 3 countries where plastic surgery is, let me paraphrase. When you look at the list of countries that perform the most plastic surgeries in the world, number 1, you already guess it. Of course.
What did she say?
Babylon.
Oh, Babylon. Okay.
Of course. The seat of Babylon. America. The number 1 country where plastic surgery is performed the most. America. What's the number 2 country? The country of the butties, Brazil, is number 2. Number 3 is where?
Turkey.
China.
Wow.
China.
On all the continents, different continents.
These 3 countries is where plastic surgery is performed the most. And you already know. So you go to a country like Brazil. I read this article. Our most favorite legendary striker, Ronaldo Luiz, the number 9. The guy once went to a prostitute's house. He slept with the prostitute. He enjoyed himself. Only to realize that that prostitute was a butty. The prostitute was a man turned into a woman. But he enjoyed himself. Later on, he will realize, I fell into the soup. I feel so. Listen, guys. This subject, is something that it ought to make you afraid. All you do is you look around, you see women walking around, you're like, oh, what a beautiful woman. Especially, so 99% of the people you see on television are fake. They are fake. Just look at their beginning and look at their now and see how they have turned themselves into an angel of light. Look at Beyonce then, look at Beyonce now. All of a sudden, she's a fair-skinned woman with a perfect, I don't know what, but perfect according to whom? Look at that girl, Rihanna. Look at her beginning and look at now. It's as if money makes you look white.
The more money.
They all had one hue and now they have a different hue. People like, no, it's because of the makeup. Makeup is another layer. But all of them, they put things in their body to turn their skin light. To turn their skin light. And we are there, sitting, looking, and we are all trying to look like them. Just look at, especially the brothers. We will have been burdened with having sisters.
My goodness.
Just look at your sisters. Look at your sisters. And just be honest. Are they still human beings? Or has something happened? No, sometimes you just sit and you don't talk. You're just looking and you're like, I have to be very careful of what I say. Because you are wondering, like, I don't know if what has happened. It's as if their mind, everything around them has changed. You still remember the way they were when they were young. And when they do not know the concept of makeup and fake stuff, they were a bit normal considering the circumstances. But now it seems the more their appearance changes, their behavior, their character also changes. And this is the world that we are living in. We are living in this fake society. All of our sisters, they are being influenced by this. That's why I asked the question, who has more power, a president or an influencer? Because to tell you the truth, the influencers have the most power. They influence our children and the youth. And the youth then grows up, and it is what they have learned when they were still in their adolescence that will determine the rest of their lives. So the influencers influence the people. That's why I said, because there is a post Kim Kardashian age, and there is a pre Kim Kardashian age. The rise of Kim Kardashian brought the rise of plastic surgery. It brought it to an all-time high. It brought it to an all-time high. You can sit at home, you are looking at someone like Kim Kardashian. She's 99% fake. From her nose, to her lips, to her eyes, to her body, her dimensions, everything has been altered. And she can still claim to be beautiful. And she can still claim to be beautiful. And the reason why the world doesn't mind this whole plastic surgery stuff is because, especially our sisters and our women, if you look at things very carefully, you will see that they have been taught to be fake from the very beginning. They have been taught to be fake from the very beginning. If you are someone who can spend your whole life with hair that is not yours. So from the moment you were born, your mother already started putting wigs on you when you were like 4. Because when you were 2, she shaved your head to remove the baby hair so that your natural hair will grow. But lo and behold, Isaiah 3 came knocking.
My God.
So your hair is not growing. She's like, hey, my daughter's heart is not growing. I shaved her head 2 years ago, and we're now 2 years further, and the hair grew maybe 2 to 3 centimeters in 2 to 3 years. So then the mother's like, no. I must now fabricate. I must employ my creative genius. Her creative genius is, now I will go and buy weave. Saman weary, meaning the hair of spirits. You put it on your child. The child then grows up, just like what Shalom said. We are doing all these things. You are teaching your child how to not accept herself. What do you think you are teaching your child when you are putting weave on her head? What do you think you are teaching that child? And apart from that, someone calls you on the phone, you're like, tell them I'm not at home. So your child already has learned, my hair is not good, otherwise my mother wouldn't hide it. And apart from my mother hiding my hair, I've also never seen my mother's real hair in public. It's only inside that she looks like a voodoo priest. But when we go outside, she looks like heaven. So there is a mother inside the house, and there is a mother out. No, but listen, we are living in a witchcraft society.
Multiple dimensions.
And we are sick of it. Why am I saying this? No, but, and that's the thing that ought to show you that we have all been mesmerized. Some females are not ashamed to show their post-makeup and pre-makeup picture. And when I look at that, I'm like, wow, witchcraft at display. Because the way they look without makeup, you're like, we need grace and mercy to survive this. But then the way they look when they're deployed makeup, you're like, wow. And
We need.
so, no. And that's the thing, They can boast about that online. Like, I'm going to slay today. And then the way they look, you're like, these are angels coming from heaven. These are angels coming from heaven. And men are seeing that. And then when they go home, you turn into Mike Tyson. Your face is aggravated it. So there are 2 sides of you. And your man has to struggle like, who are you today?
What are you today?
What are you to? What is your mood today? Outside you look like this, inside you look like that. So that behavior is being cultivated in society. It's being cultivated in society. So when the concept of plastic surgery is then introduced, it's an easy job.
Quick fix.
It's a quick fix. It's a natural progression from one state of fake and falsehood to the next. If I can put on a different face whenever I want, today I'm light-skinned, tomorrow I'm mocha chocolate, the day after I'm ebony dark. So you switch. Today your lip is purple, then your lip is green, then your lip is red. You switch. Today your eyelashes are like this, then they are like this, then they are like this. You switch. Today your nails are short like this, then they are like this, and then they are like this. So you can switch easy. And if you're able to do that, and that's the thing, that's what, guys, I'm giving you the layers to show you how we are all duped. And then when you want to take a selfie, you take a selfie. My camera has the option to beautify me.
Beautify.
So if I take a selfie, I can deploy the level of beautification. I can make myself beautiful times 2, times 3, or times 5. Because it can, so if you want to make a selfie, it tells you how smooth you want to look. So you can then plus 2, plus 3, or plus 5. If you
add the
plus 5,
smoothness.
you look at yourself, you're like, wow, I'm an angel. Very smooth, everything nice. Even if I didn't shave, I can make it look as if I shaved. And that's the thing. So when you are on Instagram, the option is there.
It's a filter.
The filter is there. So not only have the society already preconditioned you to be fake, you go into the media, there's also the option to be fake. So then, especially now that we live in a world where people, the first time they meet is not live, but it's online. So then you have already a false image of yourself portrayed online. And then you will go and meet that person for the very first time. So you now have the burden of proof. You said you look like this. Online you are a 9. But in reality you know that you are a 6. But you now have a meeting or an appointment. So now you have to look up the par. So then you will make sure that you look at the picture you place online, and you will paint yourself to try to look just like that. And then you go and you meet that guy, and then he sees you, he's like, yeah, man. But then when you go home, the mystery unveils. The mystery unveils.
Uncover the veil.
And that is why relationships, ik geef ze weinig kans. Because of all the fakeness that is happening. Because of all the fakeness that is happening. You see women walking outside. You see the behind and everything. You're like, yeah, man. Many put things, they put things in their bodies to make them look accentuated. And many have really crossed the veil to now take a knife. Just look at you. You can now take a knife, go under narcotics, and allow a doctor to cut your behind with a knife and place silicones. And put it there and then close it again. And I'm just asking myself, why? All of that is why? To look beautiful. But who taught you that that is the natural beauty? What does that all come to eventually? They take knife to give themselves extra butts. And they take knives and, yeah, I'm not happy with my breasts, so, and men don't like small breasts. You then take a knife. You go to the surgeon. He takes a knife. He cuts open your body. Takes silicones. And you yourself know the silicone doesn't live forever. It has an expiry date. So after a period of time, either you have to recut yourself open again, remove it, put another one, or it will spoil. And that is where you can become ill and die. You know how many people die in the US, in Brazil, in China, in Turkey because of surgical procedures? All just to look more beautiful. More beautiful to whom? Since when has someone like Kim Kardashian become a model? But now she has become a model. And we the men also, we are to blame. Because the women, they want to be seen and be perceived as beautiful by us. But just look at us and the way we behave. What are the typical women that we find beautiful? The ones with shape. The ones that look a particular way. The women now want to become lighter because many of us, when we have to decide between a dark-skinned woman and a light-skinned, who will you choose? You will choose a light-skinned one. you will choose the light-skinned one. If you see a woman, she has the character that you find attractive, but she has the outward appearance of one you don't find attractive, you will sacrifice character for appearance. We are the ones to blame. And then you see the women, because they want to be liked by us, so then it'll be like, okay, the ones that men find beautiful are the ones that we will try to model after. So you see how pressure is coming from all directions. The upbringing at home, the pressure from the media, and then the pressure from society. Because I don't even think that we should even try to ask the question, what does Elohim think about plastic surgery? We're not children anymore. Is there a question?
Yeah, so that was a good bridge to that question, because there is a question about reconstructive surgery, right? So a sister says, is it also, no, she says, how about reconstructive surgery? It is also categorized under plastic surgery, but more to replace something gone in an accident or sickness, like breast cancer or whatever type of cancer. How about that type of surgery?
So let's say you go to a doctor, right? Let's say you go to a doctor and you had a tumor or something, and they removed it and they had to cut a part of your flesh. And now you are walking around disfigured. Then the doctor says there is a medical procedure we can perform to reconstruct you again. That one is a different motive. The motive is not to make yourself more attractive. The motive is not based upon vanity. It is a medical procedure performed on you in order for you to survive, to live a normal life. That's when it's allowed. Sometimes you go to the dentist, they are like, hey, we have to perform something, we have to remove this, and then we have to put another tooth. That is not to make you beautiful. It is a natural procedure to preserve your way of living. That's different. That's different. You fell from stairs and somehow you broke your nose, and now your nose looks like, I don't know who your nose looks like, and they have to reconstruct your nose. That one is not based upon vanity. But for you to look around and there is nothing wrong with you bodily, you look at yourself in the mirror and then you compare yourself to European standards. You're like, my nose is too big, my lips are too small, I want to change my nose. Then you go to the doctor willingly to perform plastic surgery just to make yourself more beautiful. That is when it becomes a sin. That is when it becomes a sin. Because of tumor, your breast was removed, and now they can surgically place a breast. Actually, that's what we're doing. It's not based upon beauty, it is to survive. It's different. But when you say my breasts are too small, I have to enhance, I have to pump it up.
Pump it.
That is when it becomes a sin. That's when it becomes a sin. And if you look, I hope that answered your question. So, medical procedures based on the recommendation of the doctor with regards to your health is normal. We also go to the surgeon and we have to have our hands on. That one is part of the medical field. It's normal. But plastic surgery on the basics of beautification, you yourself decide to go to the doctor to give yourself a facelift, where you allow someone to, you know how they perform a facelift?
I don't even want to know.
They cut your face, they pull it down. The world has gone too far. What they now also do is So some people are like, no, I didn't have a surgery. I just had a Botox. Do you know what they do? So they take a needle and then they insert in your veins fat in order to make your body smooth without wrinkles. So it's a fill-up. You know, because when you grow old, your skin sacks, and then you have the wrinkles.
Yeah.
So now the area where there are wrinkles, they just take a needle, they look for the vein, and then they insert that vein, and they insert it with fat, and then your body or your face then looks tight. But you have to do it, I think, once every like 2 years or something. Otherwise, you'll look like Quasimodo. So once you are trapped in that space of beautification, you have to continue. It's like drugs. Once you are hooked, the dealer now has power. Because you know sooner or later the beast will return for another fix. Just look at how the world has now gone to. You will see, first of all, you will first do your nose. But once you do your nose, you realize the options that you have. You're like, hey, yeah, man, the nose looks good, but now my lips are not nice.
Imbalanced.
And then you're like, hey, now my nose and my lips are fine, but my eyes, I want chinua eyes.
Chink eyes.
I want chink eyes. I want to, even when I'm awake, I want to look as if I'm asleep. And then you perform that thing on your eyes, and all of a sudden your face looks like this. You are smiling, but
you don't know.
You are smiling in reverse. And then you're like, yeah, man. Let's just pull up my whole face. Then you do a facelift.
Why not?
And then it's now men even have plastic surgery to give them six packs. Women and men now are so lazy. They decided to eat their whole lives. All of a sudden they're like, hey, I'm too fat. I'm too fat. So now they go and they perform liposuction, where they go to the doctor. The doctor cuts a hole somewhere here in the lower part of the body, and they have this human vacuum, and they suck out all the fat. They suck it out of your system, and then your body hangs like this, like a
blubber,
a volleyball. It hangs like this. So then either they have to cut that part. That is one thing they do. What they also do now is they perform, is it a discectomy? Where they open your stomach. And what they do, because your stomach is like a ball, it can stretch. The more you eat, the more it stretches, and the more you can eat. The less you eat, the more it contracts, and the less you can eat. What they then do is they actually I think they create something like a rope around your stomach, and it makes it smaller, so that even if you want to eat more, you can, because they have put a rope there. So then even if you want to eat more, you can. So you will be forced to eat less and less and less, but it can tear. It can tear. Many people are also doing that, and they're like, yeah, it's for health reasons. It's for health reasons. You decided to chop and chop and chop and eat and eat. Now all of a sudden the doctor has to perform surgery on you for you to stop eating. And just imagine what will happen to you if Elohim is like, ik ben klaar. When you go to that surgery and you die, where do you think you will go? Where do you think you will go? Because you yourself willingly place your life in risk. So all these also are part of the whole plastic surgery phenomenon that is happening to the world. And what is it all doing? It is promoting whoredom. And that is the issue. Even apart from beautification, it's a direct rebellion to Elohim, because you're telling him that, hey Elohim, the way you made me, now ik voel het niet. So give me the book of Psalms chapter 100. Verse 3.
Psalms chapter 100 from verse 3.
It says,
Know ye that Yahuwah,
so the Bible is saying, you must surely know that Elohim,
he is Elohim.
he is Elohim, he is sovereign.
It is he that has made us,
He has made you and I,
and not we ourselves.
and not we ourselves. And when he made you and I, he made you and I with an agenda. He decided for you to be a man or a woman. So who made you God? To now all of a sudden say, except I'm trapped in a man body, but I'm a woman. Know ye
that Yahuwah, he is Elohim.
and he
It is he that had made us,
and
not we ourselves.
this is something that every human being ought to think of. And when he made us for his glory. He made us for his pleasure. He made us for his will. Elohim made us and not we ourselves. So when we look into the mirror and we are not sick, we ought to thank Elohim. If you have a big nose or big lips, if you have a small nose and small lips, if your eyes are chink or they are big, if you are black or white, yellow or purple, if your hair is coarse or curly, if you are short or tall, it is all done by Elohim based upon his own will. So just try to manage the things that he gave and be thankful. Because all these things that are happening, the many inventions of men, many people died under the knife of a surgeon. Many people didn't die under the knife of a surgeon, but many people died based on the infections that occurred after the surgery. Many women, the Botox that the silicones that they use on their breast or their behind, it exploded or it leaked, and the leakage was poisonous, and so it became an infection. And at the time that they had to go to the hospital, get it removed, it already spread and they died of infections, internal infections. Can you imagine that is your fate? It is recorded in the heavens. This woman died because of an infection on her behind, because she decided to get a bigger behind. So on Judgment Day, what angel can defend you? What Bible verse or what side of the mercy of Elohim can he call to? You see? Many died because of that. And others didn't die because of that, but they killed many with the way that they beautified themselves. Now you have turned yourself into a living lust object by your ways and your means of whoredom. You yourself, especially the women, they know it themselves. When they want to go to parties, they themselves say, we are going to slay.
Slay.
That alone.
Wow, what a statement.
No, but that's what they say. Yeah, man, you look good. You will slay tonight. They're like, yeah, there's an out here. I can slay.
Slaying in the church.
I can slay. So you already know you are going, but the question is, you are going to slay who? And what if one of the person you slay is a child of Elohim? Don't you know that we are supposed to be our brother's keepers? I should not dress in a way that will attract the ladies to me. You ought not to dress in a way that will attract the men to you. It doesn't mean dress ugly. No, dress decent. But do not try to attract. You have even men, before they go to church, they look at themselves down and up, down and up. I look good today.
I am.
And then you go to church. How is that possible? You ought to say, by the mercy of Elohim, I look holy today, and then go.
Wow.
But if the way you look cannot be linked with holy, ask yourself, is that how you ought to go outside? And if you really had the plastic surgery done to enhance your breast, to enhance your lips, your nose, and your behind, who, as the Bible says, will have a candle and a light and will hide it under the table? You have to put it outside where all can see. So if you enhance your behind and your breasts, we already know you will not hide it. So now you will walk around exposing yourself.
Mincing as they go.
You are then exposing yourself. It is because of these inventions, the beautification, which we'll touch another time, the plastic surgery, that you now see whoredom has increased. Homosexuality has increased because of that. Many people on TV, you lust after them, not knowing that they are men. Because plastic surgery and makeup and fake hair and stuff,
Hand in hand.
it is perfect for transsexuals. That's what you don't understand. So we have created the perfect world for them.
That's right.
A transsexual can put on a weave, can put on makeup, have the plastic surgery done.
Dito.
It's a modern day Babylonian woman.
That's right.
But only the holy ladies can prove that they are women. You look at their face, there is nothing fake on it, but you can still see this is a woman. If that is you, you are blessed. Just by your natural way and means, we're like, yeah, man, this is a woman. If that is you, stick with your nature and your natural disposition and go through life. Because if I look at the modern Babylonian women and a transvestite, there's no difference.
No difference.
They look the same. You guys look the same. So what they created it. But there are people, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Psalms 119, 128, and then we're done.
Psalms 119 from verse 1, 2, and 8. Therefore I esteem all thy precepts
Therefore have I esteemed all of your laws
concerning all things
concerning everything
to be right.
to be right.
And I hate every false way.
And everything that is false,
I hate.
we do not like.
Mhm.
We do not like. We do not like. And this whole society, as we just said, it is built on falsehood. And men walk around portraying themselves to be who they're not. Women have learned to be fake from their moment of inception. We walk around in a society where all of us, we claim to have money, but it's fake money.
It's fiat currency.
It's fiat currency. Our government is fake. The school system is fake. They teach us fake news. Everything is fake. They go and indoctrinate little children at the age of 8, 9 and tell them that there are more than 2 genders. And now children grow up believing in that lie. And because we human beings, our most powerful asset is our imagination. If you keep on believing something long enough, We humans have the means to create it and bring it into manifestation.
That's right.
That is why there are really men walking around now, and their mind is that of women. Why? They gave it too much access. They entertained the thought long enough. And then out of their own creative power, they made it so. The medical field helped them. The drug field helped them with hormones. TV helped them. Society supported them. So now, though it is a lie, that lie has become their truth.
Right.
And they are living their reality. And there's nothing you can say. You say something, you seem insensitive. Because to them it is real. And there's nothing you can say. But if you were able to stop it at the moment of inception, you would see that it would turn around. I know many men, they have natural female tendencies. But because of the culture, the society, their upbringing, they have been able to control it. And now they have a family of their own, and they are not butty. But if you had let them loose in Babylon, they would be gay. And there are women, they are naturally, some of them are naturally brute. They are naturally, maybe because their upbringing and stuff, they are naturally very manly. But because of society, culture, the laws, they were able to control it. And now they are women married and they have children and a family. But if you would have let them loose in Babylon, they would be butties. That's how it works. So dear people, these are the things you ought to ponder about. Before things manifest, you must assess your mind. Hey, what do I think on a daily basis? And do not misunderstand or do not underestimate the power of influence. Whether you like it or not, all of us are vessels meant to be filled. All of us are people. We will always be influenced. So make sure you are influenced by the right things. Your body in itself is not evil. It is the things that you allow your body to be filled with, the triggers that make your body respond in a certain way. So stop the triggers. Stop the bad influence for a while, and you will see that your natural mind will come back. And begin to allow yourself to be fed, influenced by the right things. And then you will see, lo and behold, even without prayer, you can be adapted and molded. So these are some of the hacks that you can apply to your own mind and your own life. Thank you very much. We are done.
Amen and amen. So thank you guys for being with us until the end of today's show. This was the second part of the theme called the Inventions of Men. We first handled television. Now we have touched plastic surgery, and we went again deeper than I myself thought we would go. We touched diverse perspectives to view this topic, and I think and I really heard some practical things we can use in our day-to-day lives in order to prevent ourselves from going a direction which will not lead us into the peace of the Creator in whom we believe. Keep an eye on our social media pages. Next week will be the concluding part of this theme. Once again, we did television, plastic surgery. Next week we'll conclude. So keep an eye on our social media pages. We'll keep you guys posted. If you have any questions, comments, or contributions, you can share them with us. We'll try to make them part of the program. And if there's something else you would like us to discuss, a topic which you think maybe fits into the theme we are handling, and you think maybe this also will be of added value to the listeners, let us know. Send us a private message on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram, whatever, and we'll try to see how we can fit that in what we are doing. it is a Sabbath, so enjoy your Sabbath. Keep the peace which you are commanded to keep. And we hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, Hour of Restoration on YouTube and on Facebook from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And with these words, we leave you. Have a wonderful day. And we hope to catch you again next week, same time, same place.
Yeah.